Alright, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to another Tempest Live episode. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and today I am doing something great because the new Local58 came out, and today we're going to be dissecting the series, and I'm here with the one and only Mashu. Say hi.
Yo, hey, what's up?
Alright, so yeah, we're going to go through every single Local58 video and just dissect them one by one, and go over them, I guess, something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Let me just get over to my tab real quick, and then we can get started with this. All right. Yeah, let's get onto that page. Local58. How are you guys doing today? I'm just looking at the chat
Yeah, what's
now.
up, guys? Don't know what the flying skull is all about.
All right. Yeah, let's just get into this, I guess. Local58. I think this is gonna have a good turnout, though. We already have 35 people watching. That's
Wow.
That's pretty impressive. Like, I haven't. When was the last time I had that many people? Probably like the first stream, honestly. Remember we watched Ekva?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that was fun. Extra stream.
Yeah,
Yo, speaking
Yeah.
of the moon, did you see the moon last night?
I did. I thought it was. Yeah.
Massive.
It was pretty big.
Yep.
Sometimes I just want to go outside and like watch the moon all night. You know what? You know what? Like a good album that I was listening to that like just brings me to like that kind of place is this vaporwave album called Late Night Delight, and it just really feels like that. Anyway, I'm getting off topic now. Let's start with the first video that's uploaded here, which actually isn't the first real video that was made. That would be Weather Service. Back in I think 2015, there was a website called local58.info, and Chris Straub uploaded the first videos there. And the first video ever made was Weather Service, followed by Contingency, I believe, and then You Are on the Fastest Available Route. But we're going to watch it in the way they're uploaded here on YouTube, and that would start off with You Are on the Fastest Available Route. So, you ready, Matthew?
Hey.
All right.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go. Oh, I was in the middle of it. Let's start again. 3, 2, 1, go. I love this music.
Oh yeah. Yo, man.
Oh god. Oh frick.
Who else here eats babies? Not me.
Proceed to the highlighted route. Continue on Holbrook Park Drive, then in 500 feet turn right onto North 38th Street.
I just love the atmosphere in this video.
2 hours and 28 minutes.
Especially like the rain on the. You can even hear like the indicator sound effect at one
Turn
point.
right onto North 38th Street.
And then there's the thunder. Just man, the atmosphere in this video. So I mean,
In a
almost
quarter
every
mile,
video has this
turn
kind of
left onto
atmosphere.
Merritt Parkway.
It's really well put
You
together.
are on the fastest
obviously.
available route.
And then the glitches.
Oh.
And suddenly there's a time skip.
Turn left onto Merritt Parkway, then take the on-ramp to Highway 114 North. Traffic ahead, rerouting.
I
In
don't see
10
any
miles,
traffic.
take exit 17.
Yeah, I
then
don't see any
turn right
traffic
onto
out here.
Quarry Utility Road South.
And there's the thunder.
You are on the fastest route.
It's already 3 in the morning. I mean, this guy's been driving for some time now.
In
That's like
2.8
5 in the
miles,
morning
keep
almost.
right to stay on.
I
Tempest
wouldn't
Causeway
want to,
and
yeah,
21
5 in the morning. I wouldn't want to be driving out here
Arrive at
5
your
in the morning.
destination in
That's just
14
weird.
minutes.
And then he slows down, like. Yeah, the GPS doesn't seem to be very reliable considering there's no traffic. And it keeps rerouting for no reason.
Yeah.
Head east for 1/4
At
of
this
a
point,
mile,
I'd be
then
like,
follow
what are you
signs
doing?
that do not enter.
I would definitely turn around.
At what point would you say, should I be going?
Yeah, exactly.
Continue on unnamed
Where is he
road.
going in the
Then,
first
in
place?
300 feet, turn off. your headlights.
I mean, maybe this is actually where he's going.
Yeah, you never know.
Well, he's here.
Why would you? I don't know why you would turn off your headlights at 5:30 in the morning in the forest in the middle of nowhere. Oh, there he is.
There it is.
Rerouting. Make a U-turn.
We don't know what
Your
that thing is.
destination behind you. Rerouting. In 500 feet. Your destination will be on in 300 feet. Your destination in 250 feet. Rerouting. Your destination will be in 50 feet. You will arrive at your
Destination, and then it gets cut off, and the audio just goes silent at that point, and that's what's I think is the most freaky part.
Oh, and then we're back.
And then the other thing is, why is the date and time blurred out? That roar is just.
You know, all I gotta say, good thing our boy made it to his destination. That's all I really care about. He
Yeah,
made it
seriously.
there, and that's what's good.
So that's the first video. I don't know. This video, when I first watched it, like I didn't quite pick up on exactly what was happening, but eventually I came to like this video a lot more than I originally, because I thought originally it was just like kind of a long monotonous thing, but if you really get into it, it's kind of creepy in that way. So yeah, let's keep going, I guess.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Second video, which is
Contingency.
our favorite.
Best
Okay,
one.
come on. No, don't do that. All right. I'm always in the middle of the videos whenever I click on them. Okay. You ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go. Now this music is interesting. It's a change of pace from classic Local58 soundtrack.
Oh,
And then it just stops.
I do like this music though.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a synthwave version of the.
It's like a distorted version. And then there's the moon landing, which is a very interesting nod there.
Uh-oh.
Fake government branch. Fake government branch. I definitely think the town, or like Mason County, invented this for the sole purpose of this broadcast. For some reason, which I'll get to later when we do our analysis section. Oh yes. The worst has come to pass. Despite the sacrifices of our citizens and the might of our armed forces, the United States has been forced to surrender to her enemy. Though they may occupy our borders, our streets, and our homes, the enemy will never occupy our spirit. That is why all Americans are now called upon to act to preserve the memory of the United States clear and bright, untarnished and uncompromised. Know that I have already taken action in the company of family and loved ones. Now all Americans, every man, woman, and child, are called upon to act before the moment passes by. Let our united resolve echo through history. Even in defeat, we refuse to yield. Even in defeat, we claim victory. Now this is where it gets really weird. Act immediately. Honor liberty by taking the final and greatest liberty of all. It is a privilege to be called to action. I'm probably not going to be able to read these fast enough because they go by pretty quickly. Use the method most available to you at this time. Your courage will inspire others. There is nothing to fear. This is where it gets very, very abnormal. Access to a loaded firearm is ideal. Place muzzle, hole of gun, upward to roof of mouth. Your local law enforcement has been ordered to ensure your compliance. It is against the law to delay. Remember the 3 F's. Front lawn, face up, feet together.
Feet together.
Regarding your children, the 51st state is not a place. And then it just goes back to normal. The calm music comes back. Man, that really... That gets your heart racing, you know?
What I don't understand is...
Correction.
Obviously, it was a hoax.
Well,
but...
wait. We'll get to that. Should we do the analysis after the video, or should we just go back? I think we should, for this video in particular, I think we should go back to this video and...
Yeah.
Or, I mean, we should go through the whole thing right now, because there are certain things that we need to discuss here, because in like terms of understanding the plot. So like the first video that we watched, you're on the fastest available route, it's pretty clear what's going on. There's basically a GPS directing this driver to a location in the woods where he is chased by a monster and killed. That's all we know. So now with contingency like just looking at this for the first time, basically what we have here is a broadcast hijack that is basically telling people to kill themselves because an enemy has taken over the United States. Now,
yeah, but if it's fake, I mean, honestly, who would think it's real? Like, wouldn't you need to know about what's going on?
I think here's the thing. Once we get into the actual universe of Local 58 and like we start dissecting like actually what's going on in the story, I think it'll become a lot clearer. But first, I want to look at the ending, which is it's pretty important. So if we go to the very ending, and if we scroll through the frames a little bit, you can get something kind of weird. Let's see.
Infants and pets.
Here we go. Local 58 hoax apology card. Locator something something something, doesn't matter. In the event of accidental public broadcast during off-air remote operation, relay test, power relays down before something something something. Now, this is what's the most interesting part of this this whole video. The hoax section isn't real. This hoax thing is broadcasted in the accidental broadcast of the contingency reel. So basically, this contingency reel is a real thing. It's unclear if it was necessary for them to broadcast this at this time, and maybe they went back. Maybe they meant to do it at this time, and then realized it was futile, or they decided to go back on it, and then they relayed the hoax card. But what this tells me, if we go back to the beginning, we have an interesting message. To be used only in the event of United States complete surrender to insurmountable enemy forces. Public broadcast only upon confirmed condition, 12 Omaha, solemn certainty. So now, my thing about this is, in the fact that we have what seems to be a fake government branch here, this is all fabricated by Mason County in particular to broadcast this message because of what's specifically going on there, which we will get to later, obviously. But this whole thing exists because of what is happening in Mason County. This isn't a real government broadcast. This is specifically created by the local government, because of this eldritch horror that we will discuss soon. And so this either was broadcasted purposefully or accidentally. We don't really know. But the whole thing is, this is real. This whole thing is created for a reason. This is not just some hackers or hijackers having some fun. So, yeah, let's get into the next video.
Spooky.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Okay. We have 57 people watching. One more. Come on, one more. Come on, guys.
Come on, guys.
Okay, whatever. All right, we're getting now it's at 61. Okay, whatever.
Come on.
All right, you ready for Local 58 weather service?
Leave for a second.
Oh my gosh.
For just like a few seconds.
We'll have 58. All right, you ready?
Weather service.
Weather service. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Public eye. It just happens immediately. Emergency alert system. County authorities issued weather warning for your area. Okay, seems pretty normal so far. I mean, you know. I like those voices in the background. It really adds to the atmosphere. Cam B. Weather warning. The county weather service issued a warning for a meteorological event. This warning is effective immediately and continues until sunrise tomorrow morning. That's kind of creepy in its own right, though. A meteorological event. Not to observe this event with the naked eye. Now that's strange. You're like, what's going on? Is it like a solar eclipse? That was my first thought when I watched this.
Am I gonna go blind?
Yeah. Tonight. I like how the music rises at that part. I don't know. I thought it was good. Civil danger alert. So it's been upgraded now. County Weather Service issued the following correction for the weather warning in effect. For your safety, remain indoors. The meteorological event is safe for all to view. Warning has been lifted in all caps, which is interesting. Interesting thing to note.
Now.
Go outside now. It looks like it's just been typed. Somebody's typing this. Can you read this? Look at the moon. Highlighted. Do not look at the moon. Stay inside. Don't look at the night sky.
There's like a battle going on.
Face away from all windows.
Oh, dang it, dude. I just looked
Avoid mirrors. Do not look up. XXXXX.
I looked up immediately when it said that. This is bad.
Following is a message from the County Weather Service. This is the part that people don't like for some reason. It's in the light, but I understand why to an extent. The moon came in. He found me. He. Through the mirror. Moonlight white. White like eyes. Not light, but blood. I drown in him.
He.
If you are afraid. I like that pause there. We will look together. The timing is very well done. Oh, and there's the screams. We'll come to know those screams pretty well in the future.
Uh-oh.
There it is. There's the moon hanging up in the top right corner. I thought that was just weird looking. Yeah. Okay. I guess actually we should dissect this one as well. We should go through this and analyze it. There's some specific points that I think we should go over. Most of it's pretty self-explanatory. So basically what happens is some kind of meteorological event is going on. There's an emergency alert broadcasted for it. And then we realize that the meteorological event is the moon, which is weird. And it's telling us not to look at the moon. We don't know what's going to happen if we do look at the moon. Now, the interesting thing is the hijack. So if you go into here, the first load of text, it says, for your safety, remain indoors. Do not look at the night sky. More information to follow. And then we get something else. And this leads me to believe that there are two different sides to this. There's somebody else who's part of the network that's broadcasting this, who has looked at the moon, and they're typing this message. Warning has been lifted. As you can see, it's being typed before our eyes. Right? So they have looked at the moon already. And they say, go outside now. Because we'll find out later why they're saying this. But right now, they want us to look at the moon. And then we go back to presumably what the original broadcasters, who's telling us not to look at the moon, simply stating that if you look at it, you will die. Avoid mirrors is an interesting thing. I don't think we have much information about mirrors so far. Other than, it's just mentioned here in passing, and that's it. And we have nothing else. Also, something interesting to point out is, I don't know where, but you can see that the aspect ratio kind of glitched out here, so it's like full screen. I don't know why that happened. But yeah, that's just an interesting thing. So then at the end, the last message is from the people who want you to look at the moon. It's in the light. The moon came in. He found me, because through the mirror, which is another interesting thing. Can the moon somehow access mirrors as like portals? I don't know.
Uh-oh.
I can't quite figure that out yet. Moonlight white like eyes. Yes.
Works just said that mirrors would reflect the moon's light.
Yeah, that probably makes sense. Somebody looked in the mirror that reflected the moon's light. But it seems like an oddly specific thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. Not light, but blood. That's another thing. I think it's trying to say it's just the moonlight is alive, basically, right? It has some kind of paranormal like energy. I drown in him. We get the pronouns now. We get him and he. And we'll get to that a little later. But and then the last thing it says, if you are afraid, we will look together. And it's basically trying to get everybody to look at the moon. So that's that. And so yeah, we know now that there are certain people who want to look at the moon. All right.
Moon.
Now, the next video. We have station ID. Actually, this has 666,000 views. Uh-oh. Oh, and 006. Oh my gosh. I have to screenshot this. Wow. that was
extremely epic.
That was a very epic coincidence. Okay. Are you ready?
It's 18 seconds.
Yeah, ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh no, it buffered. It's fine.
Pixelation. Okay, so this is basically just a channel trailer, but the wording is very well done. I have to applaud Chris on that because it makes it seem like it's a real thing without actually being a real thing. Safety numbers is basically just saying subscribe. But the thing is, it does not matter. There are other receivers. I can't quite figure that one out. Maybe it's just saying there are other channels to watch. But it could be saying, like, within the context of the universe, it could be saying, don't look at the moon. Other people have looked at it. Other people will look at it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, let's move on to the next one. Okay. Somebody asks, insert name here asks, are the streams archived anywhere? Yes, they are. They will be archived on a playlist on this channel here. So if you want to watch all the streams that I've done so far, you can go click on that playlist. And yeah, okay, next video, Show for Children. This is one of my favorites. Yeah.
My favorite one.
I love this one. All right, ready?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. That intro is just terrifying. I don't know why, it's just terrifying. And this music, this distorted, like, this distorted ass music is just, oh my gosh.
Focus on culture.
I'm nostalgic for that music now.
Clown. Clown.
Cadaver. Is it Cadav? Cadave? I don't know. Cadaver? I don't know how to pronounce it.
It's obviously cadavre.
I think it's like Cadav, because that's how you pronounce, like, I don't know. I'm not going to think about it. Oh, look at the moon up there. What a nice looking moon. So, Cadav is looking for a nice grave.
Uh-oh.
So like, it's called a grave mistake. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's not that's not what he was looking for.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it just be pronounced like because cadavers?
Yeah, I think it's cadaver. But the way that the French, they usually omit the, I don't know. I'm just not gonna think about it. What even is that? It's like, it has a meow sound effect, and it's like a beak thing.
The moon isn't happy anymore.
Yeah, the moon's very not happy. I'll have to think about why the moon isn't happy.
he's kind of just like neutral right now.
Yeah. No, he's astonished. I think that's the word. And also, why does this grave go down forever?
Don't go in it, buddy.
I'm gonna dissect everything in the analysis after we're done watching. Oh, there we go.
Why did he go
Also,
down?
what the hell is up with the sound effects, like the droning wind? It's just terrifying.
I don't understand why I don't understand.
Yeah, seriously.
And there's a grave down there.
There's a like, why is there a grave down there? I don't know. And then he's like, "Yep, I'm just gonna lie here, and because I'm sad now." It's like, why is he sad? It's like just so. It's not okay. He's looking up. He closes his eyes. And there's the moon. And now he's dead. He was cartoon bones, now he's real bones. And the thing's eyes move. If you notice, very closely. Wow.
Oh, yeah,
Okay. That was a very unsettling video. Now let's go through the whole video. And
Super Orange Cat said he's sad because it's implied his girlfriend and cat are dead.
oh, the cat. That must be his cat. Okay, like yes. But his cat is never shown in a ghost form, which is interesting. Okay, well, let's go through this whole video. So basically, a very strange broadcast at 4 in the morning for children. Something leads me to believe this isn't exactly for children. But let's see.
What are you talking about? It's literally called Show for Children. Come on.
Yeah, okay, so the plot of this animation is basically Cadaver is going for a walk in the graveyard. And he's finding he sees his girlfriend's spirit and looks in the grave, and we can see that she's a horrifying pile of bones, basically. And yeah, we'll get into why that is in a moment. And he freaks out and he runs.
Farty Butts Poop has another good theory. Maybe it's not his cat, but a baby monster from the first video, and the moon is upset that the baby monster was found.
That's true.
Thanks,
The monster we haven't dissected yet. I have a theory that I'll get into in the end about what happens to people and animals when exposed to the moon. But we'll get into that later. Huh. Okay, well, the next thing he does is he finds his cat, or whatever it is. And also, if you look in the top left corner here, you can see the moon is peeking over into the grave, which is disturbing. And he looks in, and he has there's some kind of creature here with webs. And any of you who've watched the entire series know how important webs are. We'll get into that later again. All right, and now the moon is astonished. And another thing to point out here is the moon is over the foreground. The moon is literally, like, if you look here, it covers up the log or the dead tree in the foreground.
Yeah.
Which means that the moon is in the foreground. Which is
kind of creepy. That's
weird,
creepy,
which is very weird, and there's a reason for that, I think. That was done on purpose, and I think we'll find out in Skywatching why that is. So anyways, he goes into the last grave. He looks down, and this is the part where it connects contingency to the entire thing. He lies down in the grave doing the 3 Fs.
He does.
And he looks at the moon that's inside the cave, mind you. The moon's inside the cave, which is the same thing as we saw before. The moon was in the foreground. Now it's a realistic moon inside the cave. And he turns into real bones. So what that tells us is if you do the 3 Fs, the moonlight shines on you, and you die, basically. You turn into bones. And you may turn into horrific bones like what happened with Cadaver's girlfriend up here. So, yeah. This is disturbing. So the whole thing is a children's show that's basically explaining what happens to you when you're exposed to the moon. Interesting. Okay, let's move on to the next one.
Hey, next one.
Oh, we're on A Look Back, which is one of my favorite ones just to get hyped about the series because you see all the new stuff and you're like, man. Oh, shoot. All right, ready?
Only got to wait 2 years for all this stuff.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah.
Thank you. From the WCLV TV lineup. The new logo. That was sort of changed in the final version. We send signals to ourselves through their domain. Did we really believe they wouldn't add their own?
Ooh. Ooh.
Your destination has moved.
Don't touch that dial. More to come. We begin our broadcast day. Thank you for supporting community television.
You're welcome.
So this is basically an ad for Patreon, but it's very clever. So the things that I want to touch on first that are just not universe things. Don't touch that dial. Don't unsubscribe. More to come. More videos. We begin our broadcast day. That's just the slogan at the end. Thank you for supporting community television. Thank you for supporting the Patreon. Okay, now let's get into the meaty stuff of this video. We send signals to ourselves through their domain. Do we really believe they wouldn't add their own? Now, a lot of people say that this isn't canonical, and I think it's okay if you don't look at it as part of the canon at all, because I don't think it affects the canon, but I think it can help us understand what's going on if we look at it in one way. So, a lot of people have pointed out that Local58 broadcasts between frequencies and basically is the twilight zone of local or public access television. So, and that's pretty much what it is. But what I'm getting from this is they broadcast in like a paranormal kind of domain, and the people writing this are saying, or these are the people who I'm guessing run Local58 are saying, do we really believe they wouldn't add their own? And what that leads me to believe is that's basically explaining why there are hijacks, right? You know, like, or the hijacks from the cultist people who are like basically affected by the paranormal happenings. They're the people who are adding their own signals to this whole thing. And that's my interpretation of these lines. Okay. Let's go through the actual imagery here, because there's a few things I want to point out. First of all, we have WCLV. This is from the 20s, I presume. 20s or 30s, maybe? No, I don't know. When do you think this would be? Probably 40s, 50s. I don't know. We can figure this out later, but there's something important about this. And this clock tower is actually from the webcomic series Brood Hollow that Chris Straub makes.
I would say it's from the 30s.
Okay, yeah, 30s. But yeah, this tower is actually from Brood Hollow. And in Brood Hollow, basically what happens is a bunch of like mutant bats come out of this tower. And I could pull it up. Hang on. I'll go grab it real quick.
So how you guys doing? I was left here.
I actually have a physical copy of it.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, and I have a physical copy that I can show you. Let me just switch over to... Alright, so... Brood Hollow. Let me just scroll through here, look through here. I gotta find the actual page where this happens. But yeah, this book is very well done. I highly recommend it. Did I pass it? No. No, I did pass it. I was like, how could you miss it? It's like a full frame picture. No, that's... Is it here? I'm trying to look for it. Oh, here it is. It's in the beginning. Alright, I don't know if you can see this. Right there. That's the tower. So, yeah, that, and as you can see from, oh my gosh, Javans, no, get rid of that, okay. Right here, you can see that there are bats, and, yeah, I don't know what to make of that. Maybe we'll see something involving these bats. They're actually really creepy. I don't know if you can see that there, yeah. So, yeah, I think, it does have something to do with that. But let's get back into this. So we see all of the towns within Mason County. So First Television in Mason County, Lasker City, Iker Falls. These are actually mentioned in Brood Hollow. Iker Falls is another series that Chris Straub has made, and it's got paranormal stuff in it.
Ooh.
And then Brood Hollow, obviously. Edenvale is the only one I'm not sure about. Edenvale and Lasker City are interesting cases. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. This is from Contingency. This next one's the 70s, I presume. I don't know what the background footage is. I know this is inspired by, I don't remember what local ident I saw. But yeah, there's one that I saw on YouTube that looked exactly like this. And we got the 80s. And we got the 90s. This is the one that we see in Skywatching. We've always been here. That's an interesting line. We've always been here.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has kind of a double meaning. But anyway, let's go through the new footage. Such as this one. I don't know what this one's from. But it's got blood going up the... It's just weird looking. I want to see what this video is from. I think this might be the next one that's coming... That might be coming up next. I don't want to reveal too much, but it might be the next one. I don't know if it's that or Still Life. It could be Still Life. I don't know. We got Public Eye. Or here's Still Life first. Which we have Saturn devouring his son. It's a good portrait. Just very disturbing things there.
I don't like the paintings.
And then there's this guy at the end. Who is this guy? I don't know. I do know that a lot of his like a lot of the programs here are inspired by real life programs. So we'll see that in Skywatching.
Destination has moved.
Oh, I didn't look at Public Eye. Yeah, Public Eye. I'm not sure exactly what he's gonna do with it. It could be really anything.
I don't know anything.
Yeah. All right. So that's basically that. That's just speculation about what could come next in terms of the series. All right. Let's I have a notification.
Real sleep.
Yes, I think it's about that time. Oh yes. All right, you ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go. I like how it's like pixelated a little bit.
Yeah.
Gives us a sense of like when this was made. I'm guessing like early 2000s. I found the soundbite for this on GarageBand. Thought Research Initiative. Real sleep. I love that. Video cassette instruction. Section 1. Myth versus fact. Turn to page 7 in your workbook. It just really feels like this very ethereal, like... Dreaming is necessary for regular sleep function. Myth or fact?
Myth.
That's a myth, obviously. Duh. Modern medicine agrees that REM, rapid eye motion sleep, is necessary for mental health. While dreaming can occur during REM sleep, it is merely correlational, not causal. Psychology terms there. Dreams contain symbolism that can predict the future. Myth or fact? Fact, obviously. Myth.
What?
Bro, I would have never guessed. The symbols in dreams arise from the unconscious mind assigning narrative meaning to a neurochemical waste filtration process. Precognition is a lie.
No.
Myth or fact? Sleep allows the body and mind to heal and recover.
That's a myth.
Obviously a myth. Wait, seriously? It's a fact, bro? I would never guess. 8 hours of sleep per night is beneficial for both body and mind.
I don't feel better after getting 8 hours.
However, these benefits are greatly diminished by the frantic, nonsensical images and auditory hallucinations we call dreaming. Dreaming is the vestige of a primitive mind.
Uh-oh.
Section 2. The Kleitman Map.
Section 2.
The Kleitman Map. Our studies have allowed us to zero in on the neural pathways that dreams exploit in the subconscious mind. I'm going to go over the language later. A Kleitman map is an index of electric activity in a brain burdened by dream stimuli. Once mapped, this activity can be triggered by other controlled stimuli, including via the visual cortex. The opposite effect can be induced by using the inverse of the Kleitman map. I wonder how that works. Like that doesn't make any sense. Isn't it supposed to be just like an index of it? I don't... How do you induce it? No more dreaming. This is what restful, real sleep looks like. Section 3. Inducing your anti-dream. Close workbooks and watch the screen.
Yay.
Stare at your screen. No two minds are alike. The instructional video was customized for you using the personalized Kleitman map from your week 6 sleep session. Week 6.
Who's this going to work on, me or you?
I love how this is just broadcasted randomly. Stare directly at the center of your television. Will do.
Wait, so this technically shouldn't work for anyone.
Right, which is what's weird about it.
Then why would they
Jesus Christ, what the hell is that?
Why would they even broadcast it then?
I know. Sequence 2,
not supposed to work.
cortical memory. That sounds like the visual cortex or something. I don't know.
Oh, they're merging. They're merging. Ah!
Oh God. I like how you can see it in the background, fading away. Ablation of the subconscious. Listen to the phrase and repeat aloud. There are no faces.
I don't like this next part.
There are no faces. There are no faces.
I literally don't see it.
There are no faces. 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 I like how it cuts out at the end. Just weird as hell.
And you can still see him.
Acceptance. Read each phrase without reading. Oh, yeah, thank you. This sounds like Freudian psychology. I dreamed the world awake.
I saw cadaver in there.
No, you didn't.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Most patients report a night of dreamless sleep after only one viewing of this video cassette. Oh, jeez. Consult your technician if you are experiencing delayed results and or unwanted side effects. Do not see a doctor.
It was scavenger, not cadaver.
Okay, now this is gonna be a hefty analysis.
Fun analysis.
Fun. Man, how long have we been going on for? Only 40 minutes. Okay. Okay.
There are no faces.
There are no faces. All right, let's go through this one. All right, so the first thing, we got to figure out when this is being broadcast. All right, so 3 p.m. real sleep. Now, I mentioned this in the Discord server, but 3 p.m. in West Virginia in December, which is this is when it was uploaded, so I'm guessing it was around that time that this is being broadcast. 3 p.m. would be sort of getting close to sundown. So this makes sense for something that's designed to make you sleepy and try and, remove the aspect of dreaming. Yeah. No, I'm talking about it's just getting into that mindset. So for later when you actually do sleep, I don't know. It's just an interesting time because I think they're in anticipation of something. I don't know what yet, but we're going to get into that.
Ooh.
The other thing that's weird about this is this tape was designed for one person, but they're broadcasting this on the public access television, which is really weird, especially considering this tape is from the 80s and this is sometime in the 2000s. So it's very, very, very strange. Anyways, next thing. The Philip Gerhard thing. Where is that? It's over here. Video cassette is non-transferable. Is intended solely for the personal use of Gerhard Philip ID 7500117. So this seems like a mental patient. So this seems like an experiment that was being conducted sometime before the events of Local58, or sometime in the 80s at least. We don't know if it has anything to do with the moon or not, or at this specific experiment, but this broadcast certainly does. And I'll get into that in a second. Thought Research Initiative. Sounds like a shady company to me. Okay. So the first thing we start off with is dreaming is necessary for regular sleep function. This whole section is designed to try and get you to subconsciously see dreaming as a bad thing, right? The way it's worded, just and it just progressively gets more and more explicit with the language in terms of how they want you to view dreaming, such as precognition is a lie. It just flat out says that. Waste for filtration process. It's trying to make it seem like less of an important, like a magical thing, and more of its bland and cold, like biochemical reaction, right? It's trying to make it seem like it's not anything supernatural, right? That's the point. And I think this has something to do with the story in total.
Ooh, Quirk says something very interesting.
What?
He says, I think this video just helps explain why people would be awake late at night for Local58's broadcasts / moon events, since it's actually preventing sleep in the first place rather than merely dreams.
Right. That could be a theory, but there are actually two sides to this coin, and I'll get into that later.
Ooh.
All right. Sleep allows the mind body to heal and recover. Right. This is a normal question. But then you get this whole thing. Nonsensical images and auditory hallucinations we call dreaming. It's trying to enforce this idea. It's trying to almost like hypnotize you, brainwash you into thinking that dreaming is bad, right? It's basically brainwashing you. This whole thing, it's brainwashing you. But for what purpose? That we're gonna try and dissect when we get to it. Yeah, it's so very strange. Right. The next section, and then there's this sentence. Wonderful. The Kleitman map. Now, this is just explaining how they're going to go about removing dreams from your system, brainwashing you so that you sleep without dreaming. There could be a very good reason for this. And this whole section, visual calibration, is weird as hell. Like, there are no faces, and it shows you all of these faces, right? It shows you all these like just disturbing faces, which man, I'm trying to make something of it because I feel like this fits specifically into the lore and into the story in like a very specific way. But right now I don't think we have enough information. I can like conjecture about it, but I don't think I can make an absolute definitive answer for why we have so many faces here.
Faces.
And we have this section where they're merging, and then the last section, ablation of the subconscious, is definitely the weirdest part. We have like alien-like faces flashing by, just distorted, melting faces, and the term "there are no faces" over top of it. That is what I call cognitive dissonance, right? So basically what that is when your actions contradict your thoughts, and so you try and act in a way to reduce the discomfort between your contradiction, right? So we have right here, we have an obvious contradiction. There are faces, and there's a voice telling us there are no faces. And so now we have to try and make sense of that, and that basically is altering our perception. So this whole section is actually about cognitive dissonance, but what is that for? Probably it's definitely to try and get you not to sleep, but there's something else. It's not not to dream, sorry. There's something in there as well that is hidden behind this whole veil. There's a second layer to this. And that's this section. The basically the subliminal messages. So we got to go through this frame by frame. In the sequence 4 section of acceptance, read each phrase without reading. Only the awake may think. Okay. Are we
going through each one?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Sleeping is for open eyes. Cognition is a lie. And that one is interesting because it's basically saying that our thinking process isn't real. There's something that controls us. Okay. I dreamed the world awake. This is the phrase that's repeated at the very end. I dreamed the world awake. I'm going to get into why I think that's important at the very end. There are no faces. Okay. Dreaming is a vestige, however you pronounce it. Sleep is pretend. A very blunt way of saying it. A dream is a cowardly thought. Sleep is not civilized. The mind is a tyrant. This is your time now. I will never dream again. Stay out of your bedroom. There is work to be done. Dreams are just screaming with pictures. Oh, Jesus. The pure of mind do not slumber. No good thought follows instinct. The lie of sleep seeks many vessels. We are our own gods. And this is interesting. Let cognizance nourish itself. Logic is the final burden. Wait, now that's interesting, because it said no good comes from instinct, I think, and now it says logic is the final burden. Actually, no, that does make sense. It's saying, like, logic is all we have.
Final burden.
The primitive mind deserves its nightmares. Jesus, okay. When we sleep, we die. I am an idea thinking itself. They are not faces. The subconscious is a parasite. Dreaming is a cancer on the face of sleep. They follow night to bleed dreams. The primitive mind deserves its nightmares again. Your home has another door. Now that's weird. That's really strange. Unconsciousness is a threat. We are not meant to dream. You owe the messenger. I think I know who the messenger is. What is true unmakes the false. Sleep is a scavenger. These are just getting weird to the point of, like, I don't know what these mean. I think that's it.
Hooray.
Yeah. Okay. My theory on real sleep. It could go two ways. It could either be something that's trying to help us or something that's trying to hurt us. I personally think I'm leaning towards it's trying to hurt us due to the fact that because the language that's presented is just weird. And not only that, but well, I'll just get into why I think it's trying to hurt us. So I think that it is trying to make us awake so that we can experience the moon, right? It's trying us to get us to lose all sense of self and basically become a servant of the moon's power, okay? And by dreaming, we basically avoid the moon at all costs. When we sleep, and dream. When we dream, that's basically a metaphor for just ignoring the moon and avoiding it. When we sleep, that's a metaphor for basically being infected by the moon and being a servant to it, right?
Okay.
However, this could go another way. This is why I said it's two sides of the coin. The other side is it's trying to protect us in that whatever this thing is, the moon actually infects us through our dreams and is trying to prevent us from dreaming so that we can avoid the moon's influence through dreams. Because Cthulhu, if you don't know, is called the Great Dreamer. And Cthulhu communicates through dreams, and this being could communicate through dreams as well. But we don't know yet. So, as I said before, it could go either way. We just don't know yet. I'm personally leaning towards it's trying to get us awake so we can go outside and experience the moon. That's what I'm leaning towards with this one. But again, there's no concrete answer to this. Again, the whole thing with the faces seems like the first layer, and the second layer is the other subconscious, the subliminal message of getting people to go outside and look at the moon. All right. Last video. Here we go.
Last one.
Sky watching. All right, you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. New logo and new jazzy lounge music. I feel like I've heard this before, but I don't exactly know where it's from. Sky watching. That was inspired by Sky Hustler. It's a show from the 90s. And now we have the hijacked version. The bootleg version.
Bootleg.
Orion's belt.
Stars. Oh.
I have another theory. I just thought of an idea about the no faces thing.
Oh, bring
But
up that contrast.
Yeah, I'll say that later. Pleiades. I think that's how you pronounce it. Oh, here we go.
Kind of small though.
It's such a weird like location. He's in the middle of the West Virginian forest at night. Oh. I don't know. It's kind of creepy. This video ties everything together though.
Right. The moon is bigger now because he's zoomed in, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that was he changed lenses.
His throat. Oh, he changed lenses.
Yeah,
Okay.
every time he does that, it's changed. It's like a tri-lens setup.
So now he's changing lenses again.
Yeah.
It looks so organic. That's so cool.
It is. Yep, there's the webs again. Remember from Show for Children?
Mm-hmm.
We hear like a distant
Yeah,
echo.
voice in the background.
Focus.
So are those just clouds in front of
Yeah,
it?
no, I think those are like dust. That's like dust on the moon.
Yeah, or is that like dust on it?
Yeah, I think it's dust.
Hold on, when it shows the... when it comes up.
Yeah, there. Yeah,
it's
it's
like
gotta be. There. It's like all moving.
direction.
It's like moving towards the
It's all moving
center.
into there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's freaky.
And then...
We hear like a. Do you hear like noise in the background?
Yeah, and then there's that like city-looking thing.
Yeah, that I
With
think
the
I'll
arrow.
I'll talk about that, but that's definitely where he is.
Because that looks like a city.
Yeah, but I'll explain what I think it is.
And then the arrow.
And then it just cuts off when he zooms back out. That
Okay, where's the moon now?
sound, the moon disappeared and the sound's gone. And then,
And then it's massive.
Jesus. Oh, the sirens. Why the sirens? Those sirens freak me out. Like, and there he goes. Rejoice. All hail. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. So, that was it. That's Local58. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, that one was disturbing.
Oh, keep looking up.
So, here's my theory about like this whole thing. I guess first we're going to point out some of the smaller details. City council meeting was recorded on October 30th, 1991, but as we can see here, this whole thing takes place in 1994, which means they have literally nothing better to record at midnight on whenever this was. But something interesting to point out is the fact that the camera operator points out two different things after hijacking the signal. First, he points out Orion's belt. Then he points out this other constellation system, right? Oh, and actually, no, that reminds me. The no faces. There are no faces. It's supposed to. I think it might be like a kind of like a de-individuation, like effect of some kind that's trying to get you to basically ignore all other human interaction and only because faces basically are like the bridge between human interaction. If you're trying to remove that from somebody, then they start to lose a sense of humanity and a sense of connection between other people, and trying to get them to worship a single thing. And that makes sense for this, right? Okay, so we have the star system here, and the star system actually plays a bit of a role in what we're about to see. But the next thing I want to point out is the fact that we can see the moon in front of the clouds here. I find that to be very interesting because that kind of corroborates what we were talking about before in Show for Children, where the moon was in the foreground. In this case, the moon is also in the foreground, meaning it's in the atmosphere, and meaning it's not as big as it looks. It's some kind of entity. And we zoom in, it looks kind of normal. His throne. Now, this is where we get the pronouns again, his. This is where we get the mention of this before back in weather service. So now we know there's somebody here on the moon or somebody who is the moon. Some kind of thing, some cosmic eldritch entity who is the moon. And actually going back to the star systems, I almost feel like this moon comes from one of those star systems. So in a way, the alien theory is correct, though there are no spaceships or laser or abductions or ray guns, which is a shame. Not really. This is way freakier. And then looking into the moon, we can see it's obviously not the moon. It's some kind of webbed thing. Mm-hmm. It's organic. It's alive. That's basically what we're getting from this.
Oh, cool.
It's also close to the Earth. It's in the atmosphere, and it's smaller than the actual moon. And then we get this shot, which people have been trying to figure out. But I think this thing isn't necessarily a city, but it's a gigantic sculpture of the star system.
Oh.
Yeah, the Pleiades, however you pronounce that, star system. I think that's what this is. And that was my first thought. And actually, you know what it looks like? It looks like the runes from Breath of the Wild.
It kind of does look like that. But then why is it built on top of a giant arrow?
I think that arrow is a hole. I mean, just look at the edges, and then it's a hole. It looks like
it goes down.
This must be where he sleeps, or where he is.
In an arrow.
Or maybe it's a gigantic key, and then to unlocking it, I don't know.
Or it's just a triangle, and it happens to have a stem. Happens to have a stem.
It's really strange looking, for sure, but I do think that it's something. It's not a city, because a city would imply that there's more than one person, right? There's a civilization living here. I don't think that's what's happening. I think this is too small for that.
What about the people that were on the moon?
What do you mean?
You know how in contingency it showed the moon landing?
That was the real moon. This is a fake moon.
Oh, right.
Remember, this is really small.
It's tiny.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is a small moon in the atmosphere, by the way, that can teleport. It disappears, and then it reappears moments later. Really bright, and at this point, they're screaming, because I think what's going on here is if you look at the moon, you go insane. That's corroborated by everything we've seen thus far, and I don't think there's anybody who's willing to argue that, because that's pretty much what's going on in the whole series. If you look at the moon, you go insane. That's what happens in weather servers. That's like the crux of the series. And then people who are already insane, who have gone, there's some people who go insane and die, and some people who go insane and just somehow survive and become like servants of the moon, such as this guy here, becomes so obsessed that he goes out, hijacks Local58, and records the moon in the middle of nowhere in the forest at midnight. And then he bows down to the moon. And it says, rejoice. So, in my opinion, there's two sides. There's a cult side, and then there's the it kills you side, right? The cults are somehow the people who survive being killed by the moon directly after looking at it. It's the same case with like Cthulhu. If some people just die from, it just being incomprehensible. They go insane and just die, and then some people, they worship it, right? They worship Cthulhu. In this case, this guy or this cult is worshiping Cthulhu. I mean, the moon. Which brings us to like an overarching theory of what's going on. I think that the moon can cause two different effects, right? And let's start with the animals. First, I think the moon causes the animals to become amalgamations. As we see with the bird thing, that's just a total mess. And I think that was partially infected by this moon because it has the same web design as the moon. So therefore, I think the bird creature ends up being infected and turns into that monster. We also get the same kind of thing happening with the werewolf thing monster. I don't know what it is, but I'm thinking it's just a wolf or some kind of deer that was turned into amalgamation by the moon. I think that's the same thing that happened. To be honest, I don't think Chris Straub thought about that. I think he just wanted to create an idea with that, and it now fits into the lore in that way, but it's always fun to speculate about these things and try and piece together a whole universe. So I think that's what's happening with that video specifically. I'm not sure exactly about the GPS, but I mean, I guess you could speculate about that. The other thing that's weird that I guess that should be worth talking about is contingency and what's going on with that. So, at first I was like, okay, well, it's telling you to kill yourself so you don't look at the moon, because looking at the moon would be worse than dying, right? But then I started to realize, what about the victory position? Wouldn't that cause you to directly look at the moon?
The victory position? Yeah.
Right, yes. So that's where I was like, it doesn't make any sense. So what is this actually trying to say? This is my whole thing. What is the purpose of this? We understand that this whole thing is in response to the event of this moon, which happens periodically. As we can see, it happens in Weather Service and also happens in 1994 in Skywatching. The moon is just an omnipresent part of Mason County, and it's basically the equivalent of like Mothman, but worse, on an eldritch level. It's an isolated event for sure. It's not a global event. So what is the purpose of this? Why did they make this whole broadcast to try and get you to shoot yourself in the mouth or commit the victory position? Because we know what happens when you do commit the victory position. Like, if you're not somebody who somehow survives it, and you just stare at the moon, you turn into a pile of bones, or just at least a gross pile of bones, as we see in Show for Children. That's what happens. So why does it want you to do that? Why would it want you to look at the moon? It just doesn't make any sense. Maybe it wants to protect everybody from the cult. I don't know. Maybe it wants to just destroy this cult. And if you're awake during this time, it's basically asking you to kill yourself, because if you're awake, then there's no hope for you in the future. I mean, you're infected by the moon. And that's maybe the reason why they broadcasted this in the first place, because they want everybody who's awake and not dreaming, anybody who's not dreaming, to die. Maybe that's the reason. And maybe the reason they put the correction here at the end is because it was morning and they didn't want anybody else to see it, so they put the correction here. But this was totally intentional. They wanted people who were awake to commit suicide, because they didn't want them.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Right, exactly.
Think about it.
They didn't want people to see the moon who are awake. This should be in direct opposition to the Real Sleep VHS. The contingency then, because contingency wants you to look at the moon and wants you to become a cult, part of the cult, right? And become infected by the moon's power. This one would rather you not, because it's so unspeakable. So I think that there's two sides to this. And we can see both sides actually clashing in weather service, where we see that exact thing happening. I think we're onto something here. I think that's pretty much what's going on in this whole series. We don't know what show for children. Like, we don't know who's broadcasting show for children. We don't know what's wrong with the GPS and you're on the fastest available route. But I think those are kind of tangential to the story. I don't think those are necessarily like the end. Like, I don't think they really matter in the overarching like story. But the last thing I do want to talk about is going on to the Patreon.
The Patreon.
Let's see here. We're going to look at the two posts. Chris Job said there's going to be more of these. I can't wait because they're really cool. But let's start with the first one, which is Locator 118F13A. Actually, no, now that I think about that, that sounds a lot like something that was said in contingency. I'm going to go back and check if that was actually a thing in contingency. Then I can piece together that would change everything. If that was said in contingency, if that was this thing. Locator USDF pad, that's not it. That's Locator 118F something. Maybe it's at the end. That was the other point where the locator thing was mentioned. Because if it connects here, I think we'd be onto something. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. Well, in that case, we're gonna look at this. Basically, what this thing is. This is a device that lets you see different parts of the electromagnetic spectrum that isn't visible light. However, we have a device implemented right in the middle on the thing labeled 38. If I can pull this up. The thing labeled 38 here is the pentathode. And that's an interesting thing. Because pentathode, it sounds like pentagram, which would basically allow you to look at the moon without dying, which is what I assume is going on, right? That's what I assume this thing does. It allows you to look at the moon without dying and worship it without dying. That's my theory about this. And then the second thing we have is the what's it called? I don't know what this thing's called. The channel network program book. This thing, you know what I'm talking about. But it has a section here about public eye, which I want to see. I can't wait for that video. But apparently it's the least done so far, so we don't know if it's ever going to come out or not. All right, so let's read it. Travel. Way back in 1963, Public Eye aired as a special on exotic Hawaiian getaways. Over its 15-year history, the travel program has traded its worldwide breadth for regional depth, and in the process reminded its viewers that there's plenty to do, see, and explore in WCLV-TV's own Mason County. Whether it's Lasker City's award-winning Rescue Alone, the guilt radiating, and it moves beneath, and local fare. Those of us seeking a slower pace of life will appreciate the show's visit to Edenvale, where the dead are all moving below. Absence of the sensate. Scenic parks and hiking. One thing's for certain, make sure the kids are in bed when their Night Eye segment takes a look at the downtown disco clubs and pubs that dot the insect stir. Sightless animals rut. Blood is singing. Legacy for years to come. Okay, this one has a few interesting wording in here that I think should be noted. Absence of the sensate. This goes back to real sleep, because real sleep basically wants you to feel totally mindless. Doesn't want you to have a subconscious. It doesn't want you to dream. It doesn't want you to think. Remember, it says cognition is a lie. It wants you, or not. It said precognition lies, and then it said cognitive something in the flashing tip. But it basically doesn't want you to think, right? Right here. Same thing. It doesn't want you to think. It wants you to become a mindless servant of the moon, or him, as we'll call him, the eldritch deity. So I think that's pretty much it. Oh, and then down here, insects stir, sightless animals rut, blood is singing. I think this is basically what happens when the moonlight affects animals. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So that is all the Local 58 content that we have. That there is so far. We did it. We went through the entire Local 58 series. I just love this series. This is like the best web series ever created, like hands down. I don't know. There's something about the short story aspect of it that each is like its own self-contained story with its own kind of plot, and everything is like radically different from the last video. So I think each episode is kind of unique and distinct in its own way, and I like it for that especially. But yeah, Matthew, do you have any thoughts? Let me just
No, I'm not as involved in this series as you are.
I know, I'm like obsessed with this. It's like my favorite thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know when the next video is gonna come out. Oh, we almost forgot one thing. If you go into the community tab and you scroll down, you get this weird little thing here. We have attention affiliates. The remote manager is on site. Crawl space. Entertainment. I'm not sure what to make of this, but I think the remote manager is him, the eldritch entity. I don't know what crawl space or entertainment is. I'm guessing this is like the 2 new video ideas he was going to do that we haven't seen yet because these don't fit anything that we've seen so far. When was this uploaded? This was posted... Oh, it doesn't actually tell you the date. Oh, thank you, new YouTube, for not telling me the date when this was made. But yeah, I don't know what those could be referencing. Hopefully a new video. So yeah, that's Local58. If you haven't, be sure to go and subscribe to Patreon. There's 227. Last time I checked, there was 200, so that went up. Yeah, go support. If you want more videos, that's basically the fastest way they're gonna get out. That's the best way you can help out is basically just following the Patreon and supporting that way. So yeah, I want to hear what you guys think. So I haven't really been checking the chat because I've been like dissecting this thing and going through it. But do you guys have any interesting things I haven't pointed out yet? Because I feel like I might have skipped over a few things. I don't know. I felt like we did a pretty deep dive into this series. I'm just waiting for something new, like something as good as this to come out. There hasn't been any.
Came out.
No, I mean like as in a different series entirely, like another thing as good as Local58, and I don't think. Quark said, "I wonder if the Pentathode actually allows the moon / whoever to actually tamper with the broadcasted content." That is an interesting point because I think it might do. Again, going back to through their domain, that would make sense. And their domain, the cultist domain, they would obviously use some kind of, I guess, satanic or demonic rituals to hijack the television. I feel like it's a mixture between, like, so like there's a side of this where it's like a very scientific side of like, yes, these things can be broadcasted and hijacked, like, you know, you can hijack the television, but then there's the other side of it where it's like, but they're using supernatural forces to do so, just to add that kind of flair, I guess. It's sort of an artistic liberty. There will never be another analog horror channel that is as good as Local58. I'm not even yes. I'm not even talking about analog horror. I'm just talking about something as good as Local58 in general. Because every time they upload, it feels more exciting than like a new video game coming out. Like it really does. Like I woke up and I saw it, my heart stopped. I was like just sitting there. I was like, oh my god, there's a new video. I wasn't actually expecting it. It's like the moon from Legend of Zelda. Yeah, like from Majora's Mask. Yeah, the moon is paranormal. The moon's haunted. Shoot the moon. Okay, if I'm being honest, I expect a new video like I don't know, like a month from now, if everything goes to plan with the copyright situation. But I'm not getting my hopes up, unfortunately. The best I can do is make my own stuff. That's pretty much it. Speaking of which, oh yeah, by the way, if you guys are watching right now, if you want to see all of my other streams, they're in. If you go to my playlists, I should actually, you know what? That reminds me. I should probably put. I don't know how to do it on here. I guess you have to customize channel. I'll do it later. I should probably put this playlist on the front page here of Tempest Universe. But yeah, if you go to playlists, get the stream archives, and yeah, you just get all of my live streams from before, which I've done quite a few of. Oops, let me just hide this. Yeah, so I have this one, editing Stargaze, drawing. Yeah, you can just check those out if you're interested in them. Okay, go away. About me right now, I guess, updates. Next short film, I don't know when it's coming out. I have no idea.
Who knows?
We don't know yet. We're busy. We don't have time. So hopefully March something. But it's gonna be big, so like don't expect it anytime soon. It's like our biggest short film was gonna be longer than Lockwood Hills. When do you think next Analog Archives will be out? I'm working on it right now. I don't know. Today. No, I'm like 45 seconds into it right now.
Out of 46.
So I don't know. It's kind of hard to make, considering its nature. So I'm guessing in like 2-3 weeks maybe. I don't know. Last video came out October 5th, so it's gonna be over a month to the next one. Well, since then, it's gonna be probably 2 weeks from now till the next one. But I'm excited about. I'm more excited about like the next series that I make, or like the next volume of Analog Archives. I'm thinking of the ideas I'm actually writing down each county arc right now, because as opposed to Local58, each Analog Archives there's 3 different story arcs going on in one. There's the main reason you took Channel 7 out of the canon, because the story was not the story I wanted to tell. That's the first thing. 2, the broadcasts weren't realistic in terms of how they were portrayed. I think that's about it. Those are the 2 main things. The story was different from what it is now, and the broadcasts were not the way they should have been portrayed. If the moon doesn't kill you in 15 minutes, you're allowed to leave. Yeah. Ocean tides will be free if the moon gets destroyed. If the moon gets destroyed, does that mean everybody will be free? The moon is actually an alien city is hidden from us humans. No, I don't. In terms of Local58, I don't think that's what's going on at all. Because, as I said before, I think it's an eldritch entity, because they refer to it as him. There's no way it's an alien civilization if they're referring to it as him. At least in my point of view, I think that's. I don't know if that's self-explanatory, but yeah, that's how I see it. I guess if we're not gonna go through anything else, then I guess we'll end it here. So,
Whoa.
What? What is it, Matthew?
I'm just like, whoa.
Oh, okay, cool.
Jeez, God.
All right. Well, yeah. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to, I don't know, subscribe to my channel, Analog Archives, Tempest Universe, I guess, for more live streams. Yeah, I guess that's it. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye, fools.